As you can see, it's pretty much a blank slate. So right now I'm just looking to have an area that I can entertain, maybe a little seating area for relaxation.
Okay.
So that's about it.
Fantastic.
Amy's challenge is to help Colleen finally finish her overgrown yard, and in only 2 days.
What I'd really like to do to accommodate your great personality and your love of eclectic, unique things is to make an antique garden. And so that means that we'll bring in some pieces from salvage or flea markets, some really one-of-a-kind, beautiful pieces, and just make this a really comfortable, warm, and inviting space.
Digging around in salvage yards or antique fairs is just a lot of fun for me. And actually, I have a garage that has some
great.
stuff in it, so we may find some things in there we
I
can
bet we
use.
will. These are great right here.
Other than that, I think it sounds terrific, and I'm really excited about getting started on this.
Amy's design? She wants to create 3 different seating areas for Colleen. First, a large flagstone patio. A compass rose mosaic in the middle will give the patio an antique feel, while a table made from an old gate will make it the perfect place for dinner parties. And 2 recycled park benches will provide extra seating when the crowd gets too big. An arbor made from old wine barrels and wood arches will surround the patio. Climbing roses will soften the lines and add color. In the back left-hand corner, a smaller granite patio will go in. A salvage bench will complete the area and provide that old-time feel that Colleen is looking for. Amy wants the 3rd seating area to be more intimate. On the right side, this DG patio is sheltered from the rest of the yard, using recycled doors as screens. And Amy will paint a unique stained glass pattern on them. Pathways will tie the areas together. One will be made of flagstone and another from recycled concrete slabs. And Amy wants to add height to the plantings. Tall, recycled terracotta pipes will double as planters. Lots of salvaged ornaments and a lawn will finish off this antique garden.
I love it. I think she really captured who I am and what I like, and will make it just a fabulously interesting backyard.
Our crew starts bright and early to get rid of all those weeds and level the yard. They add bend board to shape the different areas.
Hey.
Hey Frank, how are you?
Colleen recruited her friend Frank Miller to help out.
Frank is my really good friend, and he's out here helping me because he's just a really great guy, and he's the little extra muscle that I need.
Amy, what would you like to see accomplished today?
Today we definitely need to get the patio in, all the hardscaping, stepping stones, and the screens.
Feel good about the
I feel really good about
enough
this.
time? We got enough time to make
Yeah, we're gonna have to hustle today,
Okay.
but
Well, I'm all about the hustle.
okay, great,
Colleen,
excellent.
you excited?
I really am. I can't wait to see Amy's great design come together. It's going to be
I
terrific.
think it's gonna be awesome. Frank, on board?
I'm on board. Not too sure where I'm supposed to be, but just
Follow
let know.
me, and it's all good.
First project of the day, an arbor made from wine barrels. Amy bought these barrels at a flea market for only 15 bucks a piece.
We just took the barrels and taped up the staves and then put the stain on, and after the stain dried a little bit, took the tape off, and they're ready to go on the patio.
Contractors Frederick Norgard and Mike Meehan are here to help build the rest.
Hi, Mike.
Amy.
Hi, good to see you.
Great. So, Amy, Frank and I is wondering, so what's up with these barrels?
Well, we're gonna use these barrels to anchor the arbor posts. So I'm gonna need you to drill some square holes big enough to fit the 4x4 post for the arbor, and then we're gonna plant also in these barrels for the patio. So I need 2 maybe drainage holes here, and I've already marked an irrigation hole right there.
We laid out the holes at first and where the posts would go, and we drilled those holes first. Then actually cutting up the cutouts for the post, it was easy because you had a little fudge factor there. You could overcut, it's not going to be seen, and as long as that post goes perfectly through the center, should be okay.
Before we can do anything else with the barrels, Amy wants the flagstone patio to have a circular shape. We don't want those weeds to come back either.
This yard was just overrun with weeds, and so we put the landscape fabric down to control the weeds coming back through.
Next, we put down a layer of gravel.
Amy, you have a little different approach to the patio. You're kind of adding another layer. Why is that a
Right.
smart idea?
It's a smart idea to add some gravel in because it's really good for drainage, and it helps with stabilizing the flagstone so that when there's a lot of high traffic, you get a really nice base for your patio.
When we come back, a new look for an old bench,
It's a great wood to use.
an inexpensive privacy screen,
The doors just came from a salvage yard.
and smart advice for a patio.
It creates a nice cushion for the flagstones.
When Landscape Smart continues. We're back in Colleen's yard where we're working on the circular flagstone patio.
All right, Amy, we got the gravel down, the sand down. It's good stuff. What's next?
Yeah, next is the flagstone. So we're going to
Okay.
bring out the pieces and fit them in, leaving the inside circle bare.
Amy chose Connecticut Blue Flagstone.
I'm calling it the crown jewel. I think it absolutely looks beautiful. The colors are perfect. The slabs are nice and large, so it's going to create a really nice seating area for the table.
I've never worked with flagstone, but it's very heavy material, can be very strenuous to work with, but had a lot of help today and moved it in position. It's a lot of guessing where pieces go, so it's putting pieces together to make a fit a puzzle.
Frederick, now that they're kind of laid out, what do we got to do to finish them off?
We got to level them and make sure that they don't trip. So if we take a little bit of sand out to flatten them out and make sure that they're the same height. After we
wanna
lay
lay it-
them, we'll spread a little more sand in and then we'll wet it down and the water will make the sand sort of go in there and really set the stone.
We're using the extra flagstone to make a pathway that leads to a smaller, more private patio.
We didn't want to do any big patio production here. So all we did was lay bender board, half circle, just to give it some form, laid down the landscape fabric, and then poured DG right on top of it. Tamped it down and wet it down and letting it get harder and set up.
Old doors will act as screens to divide the area from the rest of the yard.
That's good right there.
Right here.
Yeah.
We've got 3 salvage door panels and they're wooden glass. And what we're going to do is sort of put them on posts and sink them into the ground at various angles around Colleen's seating nook.
We drove stakes into the ground
Okay, I'm going to try to get these stakes a little bit further down.
and then screwed the stakes to the doors. It was pretty easy.
Look at that.
To add color and interest, we're laying another pathway. This one's made from recycled concrete.
You've incorporated a stepping stone pathway into the plan, but you're using recycled material, is that right?
Yeah, we're going to use some recycled concrete, which means it was just from another construction site, busted up old sidewalk. The reason why that's smart is because it's free and it's recycling materials and it's going to look beautiful. We're going to put a stain on it and it's going to be a real fun element.
We're also recycling a set of old park benches by replacing the wooden slats.
Amy got a great deal on these bench ends, and Frederick came up with this great idea. We just went with it.
We've cut some new wood that we're going to install. We've pre-drilled some holes. We're going to pop some bolts in there, line up the old holes.
The whole premise of this yard is to find old things and repurpose them into useful items for the yard.
And in order to repurpose those wine barrels in our arbor, we need to set small posts in the ground.
And then we'll dig our hole right here.
We'll use the rest of the concrete to create a base for a one-of-a-kind patio mosaic.
What we're going to do on the patio inlay is lay a base of concrete and let that set up. And then we're going to take some tile adhesive called mastic and put that down, and then we're going to press some recycled glass into that.
While the concrete dries, we unload the plants and bring them out back so we can put them in the ground tomorrow.
Oh, a rich bouquet.
For most of the plants, I chose low water use plants that are really easy to take care of, and we're just going to place them in some nice sort of English style borders, nice flowing lines around all the hardscape.
The yard is just coming together. It's unbelievable to see the transformation through the day. It's made so much of a difference, and I really can't wait until tomorrow to see how it all turns out.
When we come back, an unusual arbor,
We're going to stretch them, bend them over these posts.
a lesson in decorating glass,
We actually took a tracing from an antique window.
and an interesting patio accent.
The compass cost us about $50.
When Landscape Smart returns.
Hi, I'm Bob Vila.
Amy, guys, I'm sensing a finish line.
Yeah.
Safe to say that?
Yeah, we're racing to the
Okay,
end though.
what do we got to do to nail this?
We got to get the arbor finished.
Okay.
We've got to do the patio inlay. We've got to finish the screens. We got to get the table done. We got to get all the plants in and the sod.
Cool.
And then we're good.
Frank, you ready to go? Ready to go. All right, guys, it's going to be hot today, so everybody lots of lotion,
Sure is.
water.
Drink lots of water. Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
All right.
The first thing we got to do is get some plants in the ground. Amy has chosen lavender and sweet olive to create complementary color, and a magnolia tree for shade and fragrant flowers.
It really gave me a sense of how the whole garden was going to look and how the plants were going to look in relationship with the other hardscape.
Amy's come up with a smart way to add height to the garden. She found old terracotta stove pipes at a salvage yard that she's using as planters.
We're just going to plant in some small annuals in there and use them throughout the garden for height and an interesting look.
Once the plants are in,
Fernando, does it mean with your approval?
Perfect.
we finish the arbor. We're making arches out of inexpensive wooden lawn edging. You can find it at any yard supply store.
Frederick, we're ready to put this arbor up. It's going to go pretty quick, I think. We got a big crew here. What's the first step?
Well, we got these bender boards, and what we're going to do is we're going to stretch them, bend them over these posts. Oh!
The first bender board that went up, all of a sudden you hear this crackle and it just went snap.
Oh!
The wood began to bend. I pretty much knew it was going to snap.
Lesson 1, make sure the wood's moist. Wet wood is less brittle.
We got the barrels at a flea market and we got the bender board at a lumber yard, and that was basically it.
This simple arbor makes a big difference.
The whole thing cost under $200 and took about an hour to do.
We're planting rose vines in the barrels. Once the vines grow up and over, they'll soften the lines of the arches. Now for that one-of-a-kind mosaic rose compass.
We laid a concrete base yesterday, and then today, when that was all dry, we put on some mastic and pushed our copper piping in, and then we're just now placing our pieces of colored glass into the 8-pointed star, and we did orient it north, so it's a proper compass.
And it's inexpensive.
The compass cost us about $50.
That custom compass deserves a custom table to go on top of it. This will be part of a unique, antique outdoor dining room.
So, Mike, this is our customized table. It's going to go on the patio. We've got the salvage top. This gate's going to be the top of the table. And this is recycled wood, right?
That's right, Paul, from Colleen's fence, and we cut some grooves in it, we mitered the edges, and we're gonna screw it around this iron gate.
It's simple to make. All we have to do is screw the wood around the 4 sides of the gate.
Shall we move it?
Yeah.
Amy picked up some table legs at the hardware store. We're painting them so they match the wood frame.
We go 1 coat or 2?
One.
She's going to have some big parties here. And after my 2 days of helping her here, she should have one big one for me.
But that's not the only place to sit. Amy wants a patio on the other side of the yard, too.
We thought we'd pick up a great bench at a flea market and finish it up and get some nice cushions and make an informal seating area there.
We lay crushed granite so the bench has a nice surface to rest on.
It needs to come down.
Once that's done, we finish the details on the doors that separate the other seating area, Colleen's private nook. We're duplicating a stained glass window that Amy found at a salvage yard.
We're going to do a fake stained glass, right?
Right, exactly. We've just taken a piece of paper and just sort of laid it over. You can see the pencil marks. And we just sort of traced where the lead outline is. So we've got our template, and then what we're going to do is go draw our template onto the glass. See, and so now we have this great template of our design.
Once the design is traced, we go over it with these inexpensive stickers, made to look like lead from a real stained glass window.
These are our instant lead lines, is that correct?
Right, exactly. You can pick them up at arts and crafts stores. You just peel it off, and we can cut them to whatever length we need to.
The last step, painting between the lines.
We really stuck with 3 colors. There's an orange, a frosted light green, and then a blue.
Any methods of the madness, or just...
Well, we're going to dip our paintbrushes on and put it on the glass.
What do you think of like a skull and cross?
Ooh, that's a good thing. It was just we painted the star part of the sun, and it looks great. That looks great, Paul.
It's stained glass.
It just looks like the colored glass is the only pane of glass that's in there.
It turned out to look very much like...
We're not done painting yet. Amy wants to stain the recycled concrete pathway that we laid yesterday.
All we have to do is just sort of make sure they're clean enough and brush it right on. Colleen loves purple, and she's got an eggplant colored front door, so we decided to go with that and stain the concrete that purple. And it looks really nice, and it's a simple, easy thing to do in your garden.
Now for the green. We're laying the sod in an organic shape in the middle of the yard.
The lawn is unbelievable. It really has brought the whole garden together. It's the culminating event of the garden.
All that's left are the finishing touches. From weed-infested yard to classy antique garden. See the transformation when Landscape Smart returns.
Colleen knows how to persevere, earning a college degree after a 20-year break. So it was nice to be able to finally finish off her yard once and for all. And the before and afters on this one are awesome. And here they are.
When we started, Colleen's yard was completely overgrown. She'd put off working on it for years. How do you handle an old problem yard? Turn it into a charming antique garden. This yard now has 3 distinct seating areas. The circular flagstone patio gives the yard a new focal point, while the table made from that old gate adds provincial charm. And it's the perfect place for dinner parties. The compass rose points north, and it looks like it's been there forever. These recycled park benches are a great addition to the patio, especially when Colleen is entertaining a big group. Rose vines will eventually grow out of the wine barrels and up the arbor. On the other side of the yard, the smaller granite patio is surrounded by salvaged antiques. And the third seating area is the perfect spot for coffee and the morning paper. The recycled doors really hide this nook from the rest of the yard. And the painted glass adds a nice Victorian touch. The purple concrete pathway and the new lawn bring color to the yard, while the terracotta tubes add vertical height. Lots of salvaged ornaments add interest to this beautiful antique garden.
So Amy, did this design meet your expectations?
Yeah, I think everything turned out really, really nicely.
Absolutely. You know what I like is that we've created 3 different spots where Colleen can come and hang out and relax. And,
Definitely. There's a spot for every mood.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So how else did you keep it smart for Colleen?
Well, we wanted to add some height and interest. I think the screens really do that well. They're really nice. They were $20 a piece.
Yeah, and the stained glass, I gotta say.
I know, you guys
got
did
a little artsy
great
craftsy
job.
there, and I think it worked.
Yeah, they turned out wonderfully. Yeah.
And those columns too, those are awesome.
Yeah, we used a lot of recycled materials from salvage yards, and for $5 we got those old chimney pipes and planted them out, and they look beautiful. And one other thing I really love is the arbor. It was an inexpensive and
Very
whimsical
different.
way. Yeah,
I
yeah.
love the wood. It worked out great.
Yeah.
The way they go into those barrels is really nice.
That's true.
What was our bottom line on the cost for material costs?
Just over $4,000, unbelievably enough. Yeah.
A lot of bang for the buck. Colleen, this is nice. Little sunspot here.
It's great.
You've got all these choices now to kind of hang out in your yard.
I know.
Any idea what you think might be your favorite spot?
Boy, it's really hard to make a choice right now, but this is a perfect spot right here. The corner's nice too, but after, working on the yard for the last couple of days, I think this is where I'm going to be spending a lot of time.
How do you think it's going to change your approach to your home now that you got a new yard?
Well, first, I think I'm going to be out here all the time, and I'm really looking forward to entertaining some more.